The Unexpected Alliance. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge of the EDF Artemis, her eyes fixed on the vast emptiness of space beyond the viewscreen. The ship hummed beneath her feet, a reassuring vibration that had become as familiar as her own heartbeat after 5 years of commanding Earth's most advanced exploration vessel. "Captain, we're picking up unusual energy signatures from the Cygnus sector," Lieutenant Kai Chen announced from his station, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "It appears to be weapons fire, massive scale." Elena straightened her navy blue uniform jacket and moved to Kai's station. "Show me." The tactical display zoomed in on a distant star system, revealing dozens of ships engaged in what could only be described as a massacre. Sleek, crystalline vessels were being systematically destroyed by black, angular ships that moved with ruthless efficiency. "Those aren't human ships," Commander Jackson Wells said, stating the obvious. "First contact protocol dictates non-interference." Elena studied the tactical data, her jaw tightening. "How many life signs on the crystalline vessels?" "Thousands, Captain," Kai replied. "And they're dropping rapidly." Elena had spent her career following protocols and orders. Earth Defense Force guidelines were clear. Observe and report any alien civilizations, but avoid contact unless authorized by command. Humanity had only recently ventured beyond their solar system, and the politicians back home were cautious about making enemies. But watching the systematic destruction of an unknown species didn't sit right with her, not when they had the power to help. "Plot an intercept course," Elena ordered. "Battle stations." Jackson's eyes widened. "Captain, that's a direct violation of—" "I know the protocols, Commander," Elena cut him off. "But I didn't join the EDF to watch genocide happen. If Earth Command wants to court-martial me later, they can get in line." The Artemis surged forward, its advanced engines propelling the ship toward the battle. As they drew closer, they began receiving distress signals, unintelligible alien language filled with what could only be described as panic and desperation. "Deploy translation algorithms," Elena commanded, "and charge all weapons systems." The Artemis dropped out of FTL on the edge of the battlefield. Up close, the crystalline ships were even more beautiful, organic curves and translucent materials that seemed to capture and reflect starlight. Their attackers were the opposite: angular, obsidian vessels that absorbed light rather than reflecting it. "The black ships are hailing us," Communications Officer Ria Patel announced. "On screen," Elena replied, squaring her shoulders. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a humanoid figure with gray, chitinous skin and multiple pairs of eyes arranged in a vertical line down its face. When it spoke, the translation came through as flat and emotionless. "Human vessel, this conflict does not concern you. Depart immediately or be destroyed." Elena felt a chill run down her spine, but kept her expression neutral. "This is Captain Elena Reyes of the Earth Defense Force. We received distress signals and responded as is our duty. What justification do you have for this attack?" "The Lissari are resources to be harvested. Their technology and biological material will serve the Vorax Imperium. No justification is required. Final warning: depart or be destroyed." The transmission cut off abruptly. "Charming fellows," Jackson muttered. Elena turned to Tactical Officer Lopes. "What are we dealing with here?" 23 Vorax vessels, heavily armed. "Their technology appears to be slightly more advanced than ours, but their tactics are predictable. They attack in synchronized patterns. No creativity, just overwhelming force." Elena nodded. "That's their weakness then. Humanity's greatest strength has always been adaptability and unpredictability. Target the lead Vorax vessel. Fire when ready." The Artemis's main cannons charged and released a barrage of concentrated energy that struck the lead Vorax ship with devastating precision. The alien vessel shuddered, then exploded in a silent burst of light. For a moment, the battlefield went still. Then chaos erupted as the Vorax fleet redirected their attention toward the human interloper. "They're coming about," Lopes warned. All 22 remaining ships. Evasive maneuvers, Alina ordered. Pattern Theta 9. Let's show them what human unpredictability looks like. The Artemis danced through space, its movements seemingly random to the methodical Vorax. The human ship fired rapidly, its smaller size allowing for greater maneuverability than the larger alien vessels. Captain, Rhea called out, we're being hailed by one of the crystalline ships. Put them through. The view screen split, showing both the ongoing battle and a slender, luminescent being with features that seemed to flow like liquid crystal. Its voice was melodic, almost musical. Human vessel, we are the Lissari. Your intervention is unexpected. The Vorax have hunted our kind across 3 sectors. Why do you risk yourselves for strangers? Alina didn't hesitate. Because it's the right thing to do. No peaceful species deserves extinction. The Lissari seemed to shimmer with emotion. We have encountered 17 spacefaring species in our history. None have ever come to our aid. The Vorax are too powerful. They haven't faced humans before, Alina replied with grim determination. We specialize in beating impossible odds. Over the next hour, the Artemis demonstrated just how true that statement was. Using unpredictable attack patterns and targeting weaknesses in the Vorax formation, they managed to destroy 5 more enemy vessels while taking only moderate damage to their shields. The remaining Vorax ships eventually retreated, disappearing into FTL jumps with mechanical precision. They'll be back, Jackson warned, and in greater numbers. Then we better prepare, Alina replied. She turned back to the view screen where the Lissari representative still watched. If you're willing, I'd like to discuss an alliance. Earth may not officially sanction this intervention, but I won't stand by it while an entire species is exterminated. The Lissari's crystalline features rearranged into what Alina interpreted as a smile. Captain Rise of Earth, the Lissari would be honored to form an alliance with your kind. Perhaps together we can stand against what neither of us could face alone. 3 days later, Alina stood in her ready room, facing the furious holographic projection of Admiral Hernandez from Earth Command. You violated every first contact protocol we have, Captain, the Admiral shouted. You've potentially drawn Earth into an interstellar conflict we know nothing about. With respect, Admiral, Alina replied calmly. The Vorax represent a clear threat to any sentient species they encounter. Today it's the Lissari. Tomorrow it could be Earth. The Lissari have technology and resources we can benefit from, and they're willing to share it in exchange for our protection. Your job wasn't to make that decision, Captain. No, sir, my job was to explore and protect. That's exactly what I did. Alina straightened her shoulders. The Lissari have shared intelligence indicating the Vorax have already cataloged Earth's location. They were planning to harvest us next. By defending the Lissari, we've actually protected Earth. Admiral Hernandez fell silent, processing this information. We've already begun integrating our defensive systems with Lissari technology. Alina continued. Their crystalline computing systems are decades beyond ours, but they lack our tactical creativity. Together, we're stronger than either of us alone. The Admiral's expression softened slightly. I'm sending the Churchill and the Magellan to your position. If what you're saying is true, we need to establish a formal alliance and prepare for possible retaliation. Alina felt relief wash over her. Thank you, Admiral. Don't thank me yet, Reyes. If this goes sideways, you'll still face that court-martial. But if you're right, he paused. Well, you might have just secured humanity's place among the stars. As the transmission ended, Alina turned to look out the viewport where Lissari ships now moved alongside the Artemis, their crystalline structures gleaming in the light of an alien sun. For the first time in recorded history, humans were fighting not for themselves, but for another species entirely. And somehow, it felt right. The final stand. 2 months after the first encounter with the Vorax, the human-Lissari alliance had grown stronger, but so had the threat they faced. The Vorax had returned with a vengeance, their obsidian ships now numbering in the hundreds. Elena stood in the war room aboard the EDF Churchill, the largest human battleship ever constructed. Around her stood not only human officers, but also Lysari representatives, their crystalline forms shimmering under the room's lighting. A holographic display showed the current positions of both Allied and enemy forces. "They've adapted to our tactics," Admiral Hernandez observed grimly. "The unpredictability advantage is fading." Elena studied the display. The Vorax had indeed begun to anticipate human attack patterns and had adjusted their formations accordingly. What had once been a successful guerrilla campaign was now turning into a war of attrition, one that humanity and the Lysari couldn't hope to win through conventional means. "We need to change the game," Elena said finally. "The Vorax rely on advanced technology, quantum communications, neural network targeting systems, synchronized attack patterns. They've evolved beyond individual thinking." "That is correct," confirmed Silari, the Lysari High Counselor. "The Vorax operate as a collective consciousness. Each ship is but an extension of their hive mind." Elena's eyes lit up with sudden inspiration. "What if we went backwards instead of forwards?" Admiral Hernandez raised an eyebrow. "Explain, Captain." "The Vorax expect cutting-edge technology. They've adapted to our most advanced weapons and tactics. But what about our obsolete tech?" Elena turned to Chief Engineer Takahashi. "Remember that museum piece we were transporting to the Mars Historical Center?" Takahashi's eyes widened in understanding. "The electromagnetic pulse generator. It's primitive by current standards. 20th century tech modified for space warfare during the colonial conflicts." "Exactly," Elena nodded. "The Vorax would have no defenses against something so archaic. Their systems are too advanced, too integrated. They'd never expect an attack vector from 3 centuries in our past." For the first time in weeks, hope flickered across Admiral Hernandez's face. "That's insane enough to work. But the range on those old EMP devices is limited. We have to get dangerously close to their command ships." "I'll lead the strike team," Elena volunteered without hesitation. "No," Takahashi interjected. "With respect, Captain, I should go. I'm the only one who knows how to modify the EMP generator to maximize its effect. Besides, someone needs to stay behind and coordinate the larger battle." Elena wanted to argue but knew he was right. Takahashi was not only the best engineer in the fleet, but had also studied historical weapons systems as a hobby. If anyone could weaponize a museum piece, it was him. "Very well," she conceded, "but you'll take our best pilots and the strongest shields we can provide." As preparations for what would be called Operation Retrograde began, word of the Human-Lysari alliance spread throughout nearby sectors. 3 more alien species, previously neutral or hidden from the Vorax, reached out to join the coalition. Then 3 brought their advanced cloaking technology. The Ganymede contributed their unparalleled navigation systems, and the Solarians offered their expertise in quantum physics. For the first time, the Allied forces began to believe they might actually win. The night before the operation, Elena found Takahashi in the engineering bay, making final adjustments to the EMP device. "You know this is likely a one-way trip," she said quietly. Takahashi didn't look up from his work. "I know. There might be another way." "There isn't," he interrupted gently. "We've run every simulation. Someone needs to manually calibrate the device once it's inside their formation. The radiation from the pulse will fry any biological matter within the effective radius." He finally met her gaze. "It's worth it, Captain. My parents were killed in the Luna colony attack during the Civil War. I joined the EDF to protect others from experiencing what I did. Species doesn't matter. Sentient life does." Elena placed a hand on his shoulder. "The Lysari have a saying. Those who sacrifice for strangers live forever in the cosmic memory." Takahashi smiled. "I like that." The next day, Operation Retrograde commenced. The Allied fleet engaged the Vorax in the Lysari home system, drawing their main force into position. Meanwhile, Takahashi led a small team of stealth vessels carrying the modified EMP generator toward the Vorax command ship. From the bridge of the Churchill, Elena watched the battle unfold. The Allied species fought with everything they had, each contributing their unique strengths. Human vessels executed unpredictable maneuvers. Lissari ships provided crystalline shields that refracted enemy weapons' fire. Nth-Dri vessels appeared and disappeared across the battlefield, and Ganymede navigators guided the Allied forces through the chaos with impossible precision. Takahashi's team has reached the infiltration point, Lieutenant Commander Patel reported. They're going dark for the final approach. Elena nodded, her heart heavy. All forces, maintain engagement. Keep the Vorax occupied at all costs. For 20 excruciating minutes, there was no word from Takahashi's team. The battle raged on, with casualties mounting on both sides. 3 human destroyers were lost, along with 7 Lissari cruisers and countless smaller vessels. Just as it seemed the Allied forces might be overwhelmed, a message came through on an emergency channel. "This is Takahashi," came the engineer's strained voice. "We're in position. Device is armed. 10 seconds to detonation." There was a pause. "It's been an honor serving with you all. For Earth, for the Lissari, for life everywhere." Elena closed her eyes briefly. "The honor was ours, Chief. Your sacrifice won't be forgotten." At precisely 9:47 hours, a massive electromagnetic pulse erupted from within the heart of the Vorax fleet. The pulse expanded outward, engulfing ship after ship in its invisible wave. The effect was immediate and devastating. Vorax vessels went dark, their advanced systems completely overloaded by the primitive but powerful surge of electromagnetic energy. "It worked," Jackson exclaimed. "Their entire command network is offline." Elena leaned forward. "All ships, this is Captain Reyes. The Vorax are vulnerable. Attack with everything you have." For Takahashi, what followed was not a battle but a rout. Without their neural network and synchronized systems, the Vorax ships were helpless against the combined might of the Allied fleet. Those that could still maneuver attempted to retreat, but the majority were destroyed or captured. In the aftermath, as the Allied forces regrouped and began rescue operations, Elena stood alone in her ready room, staring at the stars. The door chimed, and Solari entered, the Lissari's crystalline form dimmer than usual, their way of showing mourning. "Your engineer's sacrifice saved billions of lives today," Solari said softly. "The Lissari will sing of Takahashi for generations to come." Elena nodded, unable to speak for a moment. Finally, she said, "He believed that what unites sentient beings across the galaxy is more important than what divides us." He was correct, Solari agreed. The Vorax sought to consume diversity. Instead, they created the greatest alliance our sector has ever known. 2 weeks later, representatives from all Allied species gathered on the Churchill for a historic ceremony. Admiral Hernandez stood before the assembled dignitaries, human and alien alike. "Today we formalize what began with a single human captain's decision to stand against injustice," he announced. "The Galactic Defense Coalition is hereby established, with all member species as equals, united in our commitment to protect sentient life throughout known space." As Elena watched, human officers exchanged insignia with their alien counterparts. Engineers from all species were already collaborating on integrated defense systems. Medical personnel shared knowledge of cross-species treatment protocols. "Captain Reyes," Admiral Hernandez called, gesturing her forward. "In recognition of your actions which not only saved the Lissari civilization, but forever changed humanity's place among the stars, you are hereby promoted to the rank of Admiral and appointed as Earth's primary representative to the Coalition's High Command." As Elena accepted the new insignia, she looked out at the faces, human and alien, all united by a common purpose. She thought of Takahashi and the others who had given their lives not just for their own species, but for the principle that all sentient life deserved protection. Humanity had come to the stars seeking new frontiers. Instead, they had found their greater purpose, not conquerors or explorers, but defenders. Earth's fleet had become the shield for civilizations across the galaxy, and in doing so, had finally found their true place among the stars. In the vastness of space, former enemies now patrolled together. Where the Vorax had sought to harvest and consume, the Coalition now protected and nurtured. And at the heart of it all stood humanity, young by galactic standards, but with a fierce determination that had changed the course of interstellar history. As Elena looked out at the combined fleet, human ships flying alongside alien vessels of all descriptions, she couldn't help but smile. This was always who they were meant to be.